So, I mentioned in my previous Lily and Jack video that my next video was going to be an analysis of the interview that was done with their mother. However, after posting that video, something came to my attention which I think is quite important to highlight for people who may not have been around the YouTube streets as long as others. And that is the need to be extremely cautious about the source of information that is coming out. Now, while I am doing this specifically in relation to this case, and specifically in relation to one content creator who I just think it is important that people be aware of their history, but it's a good lesson for everyone. If you have been following the Maddie Soto case, you have seen where I have jumped in and debunked information that was put out by creators. One particular creator, I debunked a bunch of information, and that creator doubled down and actually reposted the live stream where they had given that misinformation as a video, even though I had just proven that the information was completely wrong. But today that's not about that. This is about Lily and Jack and how we can make sure that we are being responsible with regards to how we are reporting their case and how we are sharing information with regards to their case. So, after posting my first video, I had a lot of people giving me all sorts of information. And this was things along the lines of there's about 3 or 4 different versions of why the mother left the house and is now living with her family. There was also a story that surfaced that was basically saying that during the week that these children were off school, there had been a huge party at this house, and that this house was basically a rug house, and this party had been a massive rug party, if you can get what I'm talking about, because YouTube doesn't like those words. So I had to ask the question, what's the source of this information? Because I've not heard it. Now, I will admit that when it comes to cases, new cases, I'm very selective about what content creators I go to. In this case, my number one go-to has been Plunder True Crime, for those of you who are not aware, because I know that she always comes with receipts. She always checks that she's putting out factual information. If she shares something that is a rumour or speculation, she will say, I saw this on Facebook, I don't know if it's true. But she's very cautious about making sure that she's not spreading misinformation. So she's always my go-to for new cases. So before I did yesterday's video, I had gone through a bunch of news videos, a bunch of articles, and so I was surprised to hear these additional stories coming out. And I asked one of my trusted subscribers, I said, look, I'm really behind the 8 ball here. Where's this information? Where can I find it? And she told me, check Plunder, check Grizzly, which, 2 channels that I do look to. And then she said, and the other one that's putting out a lot of information is Joseph Morris. Now, I'm normally reluctant to call out channels. And I'm aware of the fact that I'm calling out a channel that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But I think that it's important to be aware of the history of this channel before you take too much information from this individual and believe that it is 100% factual. This is not something I do lightly, but this is something I do from many years of experience and knowledge. And to be honest, I actually had no idea that his channel was still on YouTube, because I had believed that after the Idaho 4 incident that his channel had been removed. Turns out he had just hidden his channel for a little while and popped back up again. So I figured, don't take it from me. You need to hear this from other YouTubers who have large, reputable channels. Because after all, I don't even have 5,000 subscribers. And of course, it would be extremely hypocritical of me to come on here warning about being careful about getting information from another channel without coming with receipts. So let's have a look back at a few incidents that have occurred, beginning with the Gabby Petito case from late 2021.
Oh my God, internet BSing for views is back on the menu. Let's talk about it right after Joseph Morris. Yeah, Joseph Morris is back. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I can't believe this. This is a frustrating thing about YouTube, man. A lot of us, the overwhelming majority of YouTubers, we are scared to misinform. We get crucified. We get hit. We get trolled. If we get one thing wrong, even if we have sources to back it up, real sources, not made up ones, for years, if you get one, there's a saying, right? You could get 100 stories right, maybe 1,000, but that one story you get wrong, the audience will get you for it. But there's one guy, Joseph Morris, who he makes up stories all the time. And what does he get? Way more views than we do. Way more views than a lot of YouTubers do.
What he's doing is wrong, and his audience is being just completely bamboozled, and YouTube is rewarding him. We need to talk about Joseph Morris. I wanted to do a special clip to this because this is an important information. We just saw that Gabby's family is setting up a foundation in her honor. They want positivity. I'm sorry to go negative for a moment, but I think it's important because there is a traitor in our midst. This man is faking news. He's exploiting her. He's using corpses in thumbnails. I do not believe this is okay, and I want people to be educated about this type of content and what this guy is doing. I'm so grateful because we have Riley Lively here from TikTok. Welcome to the show, Riley.
Thanks for having me.
So
I'm
Riley,
glad to be here.
Yeah, sorry. Riley's here because she brought some evidence. Okay, she actually went and did the homework, and she tracked down the origin of a clip that went viral, guys. And the origin of that clip, who'd it come to, Riley?
Joseph Morris, aka JLD Morris, on TikTok, but also he's on YouTube.
So at the time when this particular video was made, this was when they still didn't know where Brian Laundrie was. And there were so many rumours going around. It was a circus. It really was. And And people were coming up with all sorts of speculation. And one of the big players during the Gabby Petito case was Joseph Morris. He was putting out frequent videos, and a lot of them were, let's say, sketchy. I think there was a lot of insanity going on during the Gabby Petito case. I do remember at one point in time, there was a photo that went viral because people believed that this photo of Roberta Laundrie in the backyard next to a garden bed was actually showing her passing something to a hand in the garden bed. And the speculation was that there was a fallout shelter or, an underground shelter or something underneath the house, and that's where they were hiding Brian Laundrie. So it really was a circus. And it was a perfect forum for someone to create fake content and use it to get a massive number of views.
So Riley went and did the homework and figured out where the origin of a particular case or clip came from. And in her homework, if you scroll down to this 10 million viewed TikTok, this is correct. The origin of where this came from, correct, Riley?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So
And it's gone like
Still
wildfire.
alive.
So
There are allegations that Brian appeared on Instagram Live accidentally for 2 to 3 seconds, and viewers saw water as if he were on a boat. Many other users witnessed this event, and that's the real reason why the FBI called off the investigation in the Florida Wildlife Refuge.
what?
The family
That's why?
car that was left at the Florida Reserve was a red herring to distract police so that Brian can make his getaway.
Excuse me? All right, so do you believe he actually had actual facts or any could confirm this at all, Riley?
Okay, first off, they never called off the search. That's a blatant lie. Second off, Brian never went live on his Instagram. Plenty of my followers have also told me, like, I had notifications turned on. I would have known, there's hundreds of people who have said the same thing. But this video clip of the boat with the water has gone like wildfire all over Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, people deciphering it, thinking there's clues with a camel croc and something to do with the jug. And I had to debunk it.
Well, and just to echo, because this camo croc, guys, we think, well, he didn't say it was real. He let it go out there to 10 million people and never corrected himself because he was getting views. He found this clip, and Riley did the homework and figured out where the real clip is, guys, which he found. And so he put this on, originated on his TikTok, it went viral, and he spread it out, and he spread out this misinformation, did another YouTube.
This is a sign that Brian's alive and sending his dad a message and just going crazy. It turned into a circus.
And he never corrected it. He never changed it. And this caused a lot of, and in fact, he doubled down, right? Because he made videos implying that Rose was there. There was one he posted the other night of Rose was having an affair with Brian.
Those of you who followed the Gabby Petito case may remember that after this video was debunked, another video happened to come out from Joseph Morris that was also allegedly a accidental live that he did. And this was actually of someone walking along a walking track. And this was also debunked. Now, I may have my timeline slightly wrong there. It may have come out before or concurrently, but I know that it occurred at pretty much the same time. It was also debunked, and it was also traced back to Joseph Morris.
That's why all
Yes.
this happened. And he got so much backlash on that one that he had to pull it. Now, all this is important because there's one more smoking gun that Riley found for us, guys, in case you're still like, first
He
of all,
knows what he's doing.
First of all, so you have, just to put it, but here's the original clip, correct, Riley? We haven't revealed this yet, but we're revealing it live.
I dug down deep and found this clip, and it is from 2020.
From Teddy _ Moser. She went and did the homework and figured out how he found it through a hash. She doesn't really want to reveal it. I'm assuming through some sort of hashtag or something, but here's the actual clip that he found. He must have looked for jug fishing, or I don't know what he searched for, but he went digging to find a clip.
Well, it turns out this user is actually from Florida.
Oh.
So he might have found someone from Florida to find out you know what I mean, to kind of make it look like he was on a boat in actual Florida waters.
And then it cut. He just used that little bit because it was enough. But then here's the actual full clip. Now she's pulled and done the origin of where this came from. This was nowhere else before Brian Brian. I keep calling him Brian because he looks like Brian. Of all the people who should be doing lookalike videos, we should be doing it on Joseph Morris because he looks like it. But here's the clip that everyone has been sharing, thinking that Brian went live on Instagram. Guys, he didn't. This kind of misinformation is dangerous. And you want to know what Joseph Morris's reaction to all this? Well, here's our next smoking gun. He was on a Zoom chat with people as they confronted him about this, which thankfully to Riley, she discovered. This is going to horrify you.
So I'm just going to butt in here. You would expect someone who has done something as serious as what he did to actually vanish for a while, to maybe hide their account for a while, or at the very least to apologise. But that's not what happened here.
He's being interviewed and they're talking about how he's just fabricating lies for views. And I want you to watch look how he labeled himself. TikTok famous at 36K is what the name he used on this. This is what it is. So here's how he's reacting to someone sort of horrifyingly like, you're just making shit up. Watch him laugh with glee.
Everything that you fucking report on.
I love that. I fucking love it.
Well, of course you love it, but I'm just saying it's like, even though you know it's fucking fake, it's like you still watch it and you're like, this is so fucking wrong. Like, and the problem is that you have such a following that like you know what you're doing
Because they love it.
like literally being.
Look how happy he is. For one, I see a lot of people saying it too. And then he even texts here. This it is TikTok famous at 36. I did one today. I had to privatize.
So they were calling him out for posting made-up videos, and he's sitting there laughing about it, and then bragging that he'd actually made up another one, but he had to privatize it, presumably because he got called out. I'm thinking that other one might be the walking track one that I mentioned, meaning that people did actually get hold of it, even if he did privatise it.
Sorry, Riley, I want to go, but I want to rant because he's posting videos of Gabby as a corpse. This is despicable.
Actually, Gabby's friend reached out to me and said how disgusted they are.
I mean, really, this is a guy who will post anything to get clicks, regardless of whether it is morally wrong or not.
Let's look at how Joseph is responding to all of this. Hi, everyone. I would like to release a statement about my videos. As of recently, people are treating them as if they are factual information, but these are user-submitted tips that I discuss. The purpose, caught out that you're misleading and putting clips out from TikTok that you're stealing to make it seem like it's news.
Yeah.
We have countless examples of that over your TikToks and YouTubes, and you've deleted some of them. We have more if we need to. The purpose of my videos is to increase public knowledge on the case, as well as the possibility whereabouts of Brian Laundrie and has radically changed from simply reporting on the news to actually having some closure in this case. I feel a personal connection with this case now.
So I won't play that entire clip, but you can see that basically he's been caught out. They've proven that actually the misinformation has come directly from him, has actually been created by him, And he's saying that people gave him tips that were wrong. So he's trying to say it's not even his fault.
Everything has happened so fast. I am working on being a better reporter as my channel grows. I now repeatedly put out disclaimers in my videos and will begin citing my sources more accurately. Thank you so much on my journey. Guys, this guy's been on YouTube for 9 years. He's just a complete scam artist.
So just be aware that he's now been on YouTube for 12 years. And I'm going to show you, as we go further on, that basically he has no qualms about what he's done. Because Gabby's case was just the beginning. And there were probably countless other things before this, except that until that point, no one had really paid much attention to this guy. If you remember when the Gabby Petito case occurred, a lot of channels went from being almost non-existent to being quite huge. Grizzly True Crime is a classic example of that. I found her channel at the beginning of the Gabby Petito case, and she had just under 1,000 subscribers. Within a week, her channel grew to something like 15,000 or 20,000 subscribers, and it just went from there. So before this time, if Joseph Morris was making things up and putting fake stuff out, he wasn't getting the audience that he started getting around the time of Gabby's case.
He's new. Does that piss you off, Riley?
I was furious. I saw some of his videos and I'm like, look, this is wrong, or I can debunk this, or this is wrong, or that is wrong. But then I initially went to his YouTube channel. I saw the clickbait image he had of like a corpse claiming he had Gabby Petito's autopsy photos. And I was like, this is beyond wrong. Like,
Yeah,
Laundry
look at
murdered
this.
Gabby Petito because she was pregnant. So looking at this video posted by Jen and Kyle Bethune taken near Gabby Petito's van, I can't help but notice what looks like to be a sonogram.
Now, again, let's go to right. Well, let's put him where he's at, because these are user submitted tips. Oh, it doesn't sound like it's to me here.
On the tree.
Sounds like you just put this out there, Brian. And if you had taken 2 seconds to watch that clip you referred to, right, Riley, he would be able to go back and see not only are those clear sign markers that are throughout the whole park, but, you know, he would have been able to dispute it and know those are clearly camper markers. Don't put in fires. Don't, you know, the moments.
Now let's jump ahead to late 2022 and the Kylie Rodney case. Kylie Rodney was missing, and one of the things that was being asked for from the public was to keep an eye out for the chains, the jewellery that Kylie was wearing. We never found out why that was significant, but we were asked to keep an eye out for that jewellery. There was also mention of 2 sweaters that Kylie had. One which she apparently had with her, which was a Lana Del Rey sweater. The other one being a Odd Future one that she was supposedly wearing. And these were put out as things that people were asked to be aware of. Now, if you followed the Kylie Rodney case, you will know that there was so much random information being put out there. People inserting themselves left, right and centre. And on Facebook, on video, people's comments in videos, you had these random people popping up claiming that they had knowledge of Kylie's case, claiming they had connections to Kylie's case, many of whom appeared to be complete utter BS, someone making stuff up just for the attention or to steer the narrative. But one person who was also at this time looking at the Kylie Rodney case. Now, people who'd been around during the Gabby Petito case chose to ignore him. But the thing is, the Kylie Rodney case brought out a lot of new channels as well. And several of those channels were reporting any information that came out, regardless of if they could prove the source. And these channels didn't really know about Joseph Morris's history. So what happened with the Kylie Rodney case? Now, he didn't seem to go as all out with this particular case as he had done with the Gabby Petito case. I think maybe he was still licking his wounds, trying to be cautious about what he was putting out in case people called him out and he again had to take down his channel and pretend that he was no longer there. But there were 2 videos that came out, and when you traced it back, you could see the origins were Joseph Morris. If you go back now, you will see that there is absolutely no Kylie Rodney content on his channel. So he's done a bit of dirty deleting, but thankfully other creators were quite thorough in their coverage of the Kylie Rodney case. So here we have a screenshot from Mel talking about a gold rope necklace that was listed in Sacramento on Craigslist. Coincidentally, this happened within a few days of law enforcement asking people to keep an eye out for Kylie's necklaces. And yet somehow law enforcement hadn't actually discovered this listing on Craigslist, this listing that popped up and vanished just as quickly. And then just to double down on that, with law enforcement asking about the Odd Future hoodie, well, you know what else turned up on Craigslist? An Odd Future hoodie. And you know who found it? Joseph Morris. Now, obviously, those ones aren't as easy to prove as being complete, utter BS, made-up stuff as what happened with Gabby Petito. And a lot of people just basically ignored it. And occasionally you hear people mention again about this necklace turning up on Craigslist, when in reality it probably never was there. So you may remember that the attention on Kylie's case ended pretty quickly when midway through November, all attention was suddenly turned to the Idaho 4 case. So Joseph Morris got bored with Kylie and decided to start covering the Idaho 4 case. And this is when he got exposed big time.
If you don't think the Idaho murders are a big deal online, consider on TikTok alone that videos with Idaho murders hashtag have more than 460 million views. And that is more than there are people in the United States. We have reported at length about the cyber detectives and the true crime buffs who pore over every detail and photo looking for clues that the real investigators might miss. But the internet is a big, scary place, and there are bad actors out there too. Case in point, a YouTuber named Joseph Morris may be one of them.
Yeah, I bet you saw that coming. Well, of course you saw it coming because I worded you up on that. But we have Banfield calling out Joseph Morris. People were really upset at this particular stunt pulled by Joseph Morris. And you'll see why in just a moment.
This week, Morris is being accused of posting a fake video. In it, a neighbor of the murdered students is said to have made an audio recording of the murders as they were happening. Take a listen.
Even knowing that this audio was fake, it's just horrible to listen to. So I'm not going to play that little bit of audio. You can go to Echid Mel's channel and find this video if you want to listen to it.
That is really alarming stuff, if it's real. But something is fishy, and the cyber sleuth community thought so too. And as soon as they started asking questions about that video, poof, Joseph Morris deleted the video. But not before more than 270,000 of his YouTube subscribers had seen it.
Now, I can't even begin to comprehend the sort of money that someone would earn from 300,000 views on a video. But we are talking thousands and thousands of dollars, probably.
Multiple things to show you why this was fabricated. Like, we have the original source of the audio, and I don't know what kind of audio, like what modification he made to the audio. There's multiple things you could have done. You can add reverb. You can do all kinds of things to make audio sound like it's outside, though I think maybe he just held the audio at a distance and made it sound like it was outside, and he just breathed over it.
Sedano says that Morris took the audio from another YouTuber, added the breathing sounds, and then manipulated the result to make it seem like it came from a distance. Sedano also accuses Joseph Morris of fabricating the online news story that accompanied the Scream video to make the narrative that much more believable.
The audio, somebody found the audio, the original author from where that came from, and it's weird because the original audio comes from, it looks like a domestic violence situation. And so two small parts of that video with a woman screaming, leave me alone and stop it, were taken. It seems like it was modified and it was added to his video.
Honestly, I can't even comprehend what sort of mind would choose to go to a video talking about domestic violence, lift the audio from that video, and use it to create a fake video claiming that it is the sound of 4 young people being unalived.
Also, in looking into that, I was trying to find that article, the Daily Mail article, and I found the original article, and it doesn't have the verbiage that he was reading where it says, but blood-curdling scream they heard that night, which is pretty disgusting for him to even use that verbiage when describing.
So what you're saying, Melvin, is he overlaid a legitimate news source like the Daily Mail and made it and legitimized the audio clip that he had put together from different sources, from a domestic violence incident, and then I mean, that's pretty crafty stuff. So I've reached out to the neighbor. He said it was fake. I reached out to the author of the Daily Mail. It was fake. And the true crime community already has sometimes a bad rap for doxing, harassing, going down the crazy conspiracy train. And so this is bad. And there's audio of him laughing about it with the Brian Laundrie incident. Yeah, it's horrible.
And if that wasn't bad enough, he also created a fake account, allegedly, from Dylan Mortensen, that was essentially fan fiction. It was making up fake information about what happened after the other 4 were unalived. This is something that Echid Mel also exposed on his channel. I haven't played the whole clip, but you can see there, again, it's another Joseph Morris stunt. He basically reported this on his channel. And, well, hey, guess who was the first one to report this on his channel? You are correct, Joseph Morris.
Joseph Morris live stream. If you're new here, hello there. How are you? I am Joseph Morris. So I just want to say I'm very, very sorry on my last stream for.
Okay, Joseph. What about the Gabby Petito thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That wasn't your last stream. And why do you delete all the videos? Never mind. Let's see.
or sharing something that I shouldn't have shared, I'll make sure to check my sources better.
The HDMI was altered. The HDMI on the site was altered, and that's exclusive only to your browser. That is not something someone could send you.
He blatantly lied right there.
So what you heard was his apology for the fake audio and the fake news article that he put out at the time of the Idaho 4. Basically claiming that he'll check his sources better next time. Even though it's been proven that he created it in the first place.
And not spread unfact-checked information. So it's a learning.
He was citing a report, an article, that when you go to that article, Julie, and everyone watching, does not say what he read because it was altered.
I mean, it's for him to say it. He didn't fact check it. There was nothing to fact check because you made it up, dude. I mean, own it. Own it.
Process for me, and I'm very sorry for that.
So, we're all desperate for these beautiful children to be found. I think by now most of us accept that these children probably did not walk off into the woods, and that, in fact, the reason the search was called off after 6 days, while obviously weather would be a factor, but when you listen to the wording at the press conference, it seems pretty clear that the direction of the investigation has now gone in the direction of looking at a criminal act. We want these children found. And if someone is responsible, we want justice for these children. But let's not go down the path of turning this case into a circus. Let's be careful about the sources of the information that we share on this case. And if it's not information that has come directly from a news station, directly from an article, or research that someone can show as being solid research, in other words, showing their receipts, then we need to be very wary about recirculating information that may not be truthful. Anyone can create a fake Facebook account and post on Facebook pages with these cases. And of course, with these groups, people can choose to post anonymously. But that's hearsay information. And if information is coming directly from one YouTuber and you can't verify it yourself, then you need to question it. And yes, I am referring directly to Joseph Morris, because this guy has a long history. This is not normally my style to call out channels directly. Anyone who's followed my channel for a while will know that that's not my style. by all means follow his content. Watch his content with this case. But be aware of the difference between primary sources and secondary sources or hearsay. Primary sources, that's what you get from the agencies who are dealing with this case. So their own Facebook pages or Instagram or TikTok or wherever they have their information. That's a primary source. Credible news stations, that's a secondary source. They've got to get their information from somewhere, unless of course they are playing an interview. That's a primary source. It's still worth watching, but it's worth knowing that sometimes news stations get their information wrong. But if you see a YouTuber presenting information that they claim to have come across on Facebook, this person related to the case commented, and now I'm commenting to you, that's not factual information. That's hearsay, and that's not going to help get justice for these children or help find these children. If, of course, we are talking about justice. So I did feel that it was important to share this information because it's going to break my heart if I see this case turn into a circus, like the Summer Wells case, like Sebastian Rogers. And of course, the way that we can avoid that happening is to make sure that we are questioning the information that is being given to us. Questioning the source of that information. And making sure that we're not repeating information that may have been just made up by someone simply to gain clicks and views on their channel. Let's keep this about Lily and Jack and not about drama and salacious information that is quite possibly incorrect. So, thank you for listening. I will, in my next video about Lily and Jack, be doing an analysis of the interview that was done with their mother. I see so many red flags, I have concerns, and I would like to talk about that. So, if you are following this case and you are interested in hearing what I have to say about the mother's interview, keep an eye out for that video. So on that note, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Give a fuck about